We're back. Sorry guys for the wait. I know it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, but thank you so much for keeping the questions coming. You guys continue to keep the questions coming. We've got some good questions this week for you guys. And don't forget, if you haven't already done so, hit like and subscribe. I never know where the button is.
It's up here. It's right up here. And yeah, of course, don't forget, #AskRG. And we'll try to answer. Well, today we're going to try to answer the questions a bit shorter so we can answer more questions. All right, so let's go for it.
Let's do it.
First question on Twitter from HMYNM. It took me a while to figure it out, but I know that it's a la Madrid y nada más. That's a good one. It says, what is the biggest problem with Ramos? I personally think he's way too confident when he plays.
Well, that's a good observation of Sergio Ramos. It could be that he's overconfident, or it could be that he's been on the team so long, he's won everything. I mean, he's won champions, he's won league. Maybe he doesn't have the motivation that other new players have to continue playing and giving it everything.
I think that's a good point. And I also think it's a physical thing, because one of the special features of Sergio Ramos was his speed and his strength. And I'm not saying he's lost strength, but definitely he's lost speed. And, you know, losing speed affects you in a lot of different aspects of the game. We saw in the last match that, you know, maybe he's lost the ability to position himself correctly in defense. So he's kind of, or he was at least in the last game, rarely in position. And that is something that, you know, makes us think that he's not as good as defender as he was before. And it's also maybe a mental problem, as Ashley said. You know, he's kind of become a legend at the club, and it's very hard to question Ramos now. So yeah, I think it's a combination of things, but definitely it's a good observation, and you are seeing, as we are seeing too, that Ramos is not performing as he should be.
He's not the Ramos we used to know.
We used to know. Anyway, thank you very much. The next question is from Zach Expandiari. Zach, you always keep the questions coming. You're a legend. What do you guys think about the rumors of Bale leaving because of the injuries? Keep up the great work.
I don't think Bale's going anywhere, personally. I mean, the injuries, hopefully he can overcome these injuries and in the future not get injured as much, but I don't think he's going to leave the club for that reason.
Yeah, no, me neither. And I think, of course, the interest of other clubs on Bale is, you know, it's a fact because he's a great player.
Right.
But I think it was such a big bet for Real Madrid, you know, betting on Bale, that letting him go without him having had one full good season, you know, because we want to see that. I want to see what Bale is like, you know, 100% for the whole season.
Right.
After I've seen that, you know, he can go wherever he wants. But yeah, thanks for the question. Next question is CR7 rules. CR7 rules. How would you rate, or what's your rate from 1 to 10 of this season so far? Mine is personally a 5. I think that's generous.
That is a generous, oh gosh. 3, 4. I mean, this season has definitely left us wanting more. I guess 3 right now, and if we win the Champions League.
That's the thing, you know, it wouldn't be fair to rate the season right now, because, I mean, the only goal we have left, our only chance of winning something, we're playing and we're doing well.
Right.
So I think it's very, you know, like a double-edged thing, because if we win the Champions League, imagine if we beat Barcelona in the final, it would be an 11 over 10. But, you know, if we are, you know, knocked out in the quarterfinals, I would say this has been one of the worst seasons I remember here in Spain. But yeah, thank you. Ryan Cross or Cruz. Who is a good shout for a backup left back?
A backup left back. Well, we've been talking about this, how we need to find a left back, a true left back to replace Marcelo if he's ever injured, or just replace Marcelo in general. I love him, but, you know, maybe it'll be his time at some point.
No, we all love him, but, you know, he needs somebody that could, you know, come in for him when he's injured.
Right. And a good young player could be Alaba.
David Alaba from Bayern Munich. We don't know what's going to happen with him. Maybe Pep is going to take him with him to Man City. We don't know. But yeah, to answer your question, Alaba would be our favorite option.
Come on over.
Next question, Jake Keating started by saying, you guys never answer my questions, so we're going to do it
right now.
No, once and for all, Jake, so that you know that we read your comments and we love them. And this time we're answering your question. And the question is, what's your opinion on selling James Rodriguez and his current situation at Real Madrid?
Current situation at Real Madrid, I mean, right now, this hasn't been the greatest season for James.
True.
He had a way better season last season. That being said, he's a young player, he's a great player. I think that he has a good future ahead of him. I personally, if I had to choose right now this summer, would I sell James? No, I wouldn't sell James. I think we need to give him another season under Zidane, and I think maybe the next season under Zidane will be exactly what Hummus needs, and maybe he can have another breakout season.
Yeah, it's true that to analyze, his current situation, there might be a lot of factors that come into play. Like, for example, his not so good relationship with Benitez, maybe it was a confidence problem. He didn't feel he was being treated fairly. Maybe that could be one of the things. Another thing, and I do think this affects, and sometimes people overlook it, but for a young player who's played in Europe but never in a big league, coming to Real Madrid and be the star of the biggest club can definitely, take a toll on your mental game.
It's a lot of pressure. I was just
It is a lot of pressure.
Poor
James
guy.
is under, the spotlight 24/7.
Constantly.
Like if he goes out or if he doesn't, if he plays well or if he doesn't, whatever he does, he's being judged constantly, and that affects. But it's kind of weird because also that didn't seem to affect him his first season. His first year was great, and we were thinking, oh man, we brought this, this great player, and he's ready to do what we need him to do.
But he was also an look.
Yeah.
So maybe the coach has something to do with it.
A lot of factors. I wouldn't sell him. Agree with Ashley. I would not sell him. I trust Hummus, and I think he has a lot to give us. But let's hope we can find a way of making Hummus give us that. Thank you. Give it to us, Hummus. Alertuber TV, man. You always ask questions, and I remember you saying, "Are you purposefully not answering my questions?" So no, we're gonna answer your next question. Thank you. It says, "Would you sell Hummus for Pogba?"
As we just said, we wouldn't sell Hummus, but for
Would you
Pogba,
change him for Pogba?
Yes.
All right, she said yes. I think, it would be weird to be in a situation where we have to change one for the other.
If we have to. I'm just if we have to.
But, actually, I would like to see both of them play together because they're very different kind of players. Pogba could play a little behind James, feed him some good balls. But, I don't know. I wouldn't exchange one for the other. Definitely, I wouldn't. But yeah, thank you. It says, Paul de Sousa, thank you, Paul. Who is a player that you wanted to sign that Real Madrid didn't sign? Any player, past or present.
Oh.
Who would you have liked to see in Real Madrid? That was never a reality.
That was never a reality. Oh, wow, this was one of my favorite players a while back, and even though he's from the enemy team, Ronaldinho.
That's Ronaldinho, of course. Who wouldn't have liked to see Ronaldinho on their team? But yeah, I would say Agüero. I would have liked to see Agüero. And my personal kind of choice would be Forlán. I would have loved to see Forlán when he was at his peak in Villarreal, when he signed for Atleti. Those years of Forlán when he was the golden boot. I would have loved to see Forlán wearing our jersey, but that never happened. Martinez77 Gamer, I just would say, Martinez, thank you very much, man. You left this question on 25 videos, maybe 28. So I know you want an answer. I know you want an answer. All right, so it says, I think Isco and James can't share the attacking midfielder. If you have to choose, who would you keep in Real Madrid?
Why are they making me choose all these James things when I said I wouldn't sell him? I agree, totally agree. I think they both like to play the attacking midfield position, and unfortunately we can't have both of them in that position just because of who we have to choose for the other midfield positions. Who would I choose? That's such a hard question because depending on the day, sometimes I really like Isco's style and his hard work, especially defensively, but there's other times where I love Hummus because he can score. I think he scores more goals. I think he has more goal-scoring capabilities. I like the through balls that he plays. I don't know, what do you think? Let me decide in a second.
If we were put in a situation where we have to choose, I think we would never have to choose because we need two players like that in a team. It's not like, we have one, let's get rid of the other. The seasons are long, we have a lot of games. We need many players, or at least two in each position that can, perform at a top level when we need them to. So I wouldn't choose one over the other. But if I had to answer your question, I would go for James. I think James has a bit more of the magic that I like in a number 10 player. And maybe Isco has too much already of that magic. And it's one of the things I don't like about Isco in the last season is he does too much.
Yeah, no, I agree.
He keeps the ball for too long and
too many touches. You're just dude, pass it or do something else besides dribble.
Well, Galacticos, we hope you have enjoyed our answers, and we have again done it sufficiently. So if you haven't liked or subscribed yet, click, and we'll see you tomorrow.
It's my cold hand wave.